everybody. I'm Stacey J.
And I'm Chuck Duran.
Welcome to another awesome episode of VO Buzz Weekly.
And awesome is right. We have Lori Allen on the show, and she is going to blow your mind.
She is wonderful. It's like having family here today because Lori and I are old friends from New York.
Yes, you are. And now, it's time for Tip of the Week.
Dr. Chuck.
Yes, Stacey.
I have a question.
Shoot.
What happens when the green apple's not enough and I still have clicks in my tracks?
2 green apples.
Now you can juggle.
Just kidding. Yeah, now you can go join the circus. No, check this out. My tip of the week is going to save you guys so much time. It's not even funny.
Love that.
There's a product out there that I've been using for quite some time now, and it's called RX2 by a company called Isotope. You can find them, well, here's the product right here, and you can find them at isotope.com. Product RX2. This thing is amazing. You import your audio once you're done with it into the RX2, and they have one of the functions alone is called declicker. Hello.
There you go.
Declicker.
That's
you just
pretty
hit
obvious.
declicker. I don't even change the settings. I use the default setting. I hit declick.
Boom.
All clicks are gone. It's amazing. You guys are going to love me for that tip right there.
As if they don't love you already, Chuck. Hey, you guys want to fall in love with Lori Allen? Come on, let's go. Okay, guys, if you've ever seen the show Spongebob Squarepants, The Fantastic Four, Family Guy, and Henry Hugglemonster, then you know our guest. She is amazing on the mic, on camera, and live on stage. She is fabulous. We are so excited to get buzzed with our amazing, brilliant, beautiful friend, Lori Allen.
Yay! Wait, let me do a big crowd. Yeah!
I love Chuck.
Put it there, baby.
It's
Welcome
so good to see
VO
you
Buzz
guys.
Weekly.
Mwah. Thank you for having me.
So
Like
cool.
one of my sisters are here.
These two have been friends forever, so they are like sisters.
I don't know if that's possible since we're still 27.
I'll tell you what,
Crazy.
when these cameras are not rolling, you have no idea what goes on around these places. But
Chuck,
man,
are you a little nervous being in the middle?
no, I actually like it because see what I mean? So listen, I want to get right down to it. You have done so much cool stuff, and the cool thing about Lori is that she doesn't sugarcoat stuff. She's going to tell you exactly how it is. You guys are going to learn a ton. I want to know, they want to know, how did the whole VO thing start out for you? How'd you get started?
Good question. My parents are wonderful performers, so I learned everything I know from my folks, for reals. So I grew up in the Maryland, D.C. area, and my folks met at theater school. They met at theater camp.
Theater camp,
No,
wow.
they went to American University, and they were theater majors with both radio minors. And so they were just extraordinary performers and still are. And they both were, VO performer theater people. My dad went off into advertising and singing and directing, and he writes musicals.
Advertising and singing, like jingles?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Cool.
and he's he writes musicals, and he's got a great voice. And my mom has got this amazing voice, and she was doing like booth announcing, and she was always in plays, and they're just dynamic, wonderful performers. And everyone in my family has this voice. All the women have this voice, and so it was like, "Good night, Lori." So my mom was always in plays, and so everyone would really come sing like 4-part harmony like that to us to
that's
good night.
so cool.
So I think if I'd come home and said I want to be a doctor or an orthodontist, it would have been like, what?
Yeah. How can you disgrace our family?
That's crazy. Yeah. So everyone in my family, my brother's an amazing
brother,
musician and performer, and my sister's a DJ, Lisa Manning. She's a DJ in Nashville. Amazing on-air personality. And my brother Alan Denneberg, he's in New York, and so everybody has it in our family. So
and luckily you got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
I hope
good.
so.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
She got an extra sprinkle.
That's so
or
cool.
two, yeah.
And so, as a performer yourself, when do you remember it being like your big break?
I remember, what's the little story? 3 blind mice, what is that? The little fairy tale thing. I was in kindergarten, or I think it was in kindergarten or first grade, and I got to be the mother of whatever that little 3 blind mice is, and I was taller than the rest of the kids at that age for some reason, because I'm not especially tall or short. And I got to do this thing, and I remember being like, this is really awesome. I guess, I got to be bossy. And then I got imagine that. And then I just got to play. I just got to do what came naturally to me, which is to play. And everybody played in my household. That there's so much laughter and craziness and freedom and expressiveness that it felt awkward to not do that. So when I got to do that at school, I was like, I get to do this at school too?
Yeah.
So that it felt really natural. So I think it was like in like 3rd or 4th grade. And then I just knew that that's what I
Wanted to do.
I was like, and there was not a question. There wasn't, anybody telling me, well, that's crazy. It was always just encouraged and supported. And that is such a blessing. Like, I don't even think about how amazing that blessing was. That like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And what was your big animation show, though? I mean, did VO start there in animation for you?
No, I started off doing commercials and stuff as a kid. My dad had us doing some for Giant department store. He also had us doing a spot for him for.
Your dad hired you?
My dad hired me. My folks were
See, you need a
divorced.
dad like hers.
Yeah, exactly. My parents worked and played well together. They still do, and they had. My dad, it was for Shakey's Pizza, and he'd written this great jingle, come on down, come on down, come on down to Shakey's for a change, a little change. So me and my sister and my cousins, we all went to Shakey's. And so back then, I don't think we all knew that you could have a spit can. Right. And I can't eat wheat and dairy pizza now because I'm gluten intolerant, not because it's LA, but because I just can't eat that. Right. And,
because you OD'd on Shakey's. That's
exactly.
That's right.
So it was me and my cousins and my dad had this cool like camera in our face, and we're all like, bleh, So we were doing commercials back then. So I got into more voiceovers and theater through Emerson Theater School and NYU Tisch School of the Arts. And then it seemed like I got actually more into television work. More on camera for like theater and television work.
Which you're still doing a ton of.
Yeah.
In fact, we saw you on a commercial. What was that? Geico.
Oh, the Geico
I'll believe that when
commercial.
pigs fly.
Exactly.
Sure,
That's
I
a
will.
good one.
And then it really occurred to me that I was like, what am I doing? I did voiceovers as a kid, and then I went off to theater school, and then I was like, wait a second. So I was dating a guy, and his mom did demos, and she was like really tutoring me, and I would run off and spray perfume on people. That was my day job for a year. I only had a day job for a year. Very grateful. And if they didn't take my perfume, I'd squirt it after them anyway. And then that one thing led to another, and I made a demo, and it took off. And I started to really start off in promos, actually, because I can talk fast and say a lot of things, I guess. And I was the voice of Lifetime. I was the first voice of
Yes,
Lifetime.
I remember that.
I
only
didn't
remember
know that.
Yeah.
And they always wanted
really
that to me
cool.
more. Now my voice was like scratchy, and I'm sure I'd be like, only on Lifetime.
No, I totally remember
Yeah.
Lifetime. Yes.
So that was really great. So I did a lot of promo, and I just was running around New York. I lived in New York and just would run from session to session doing tons and tons of promo stuff. And then really cosmetic stuff. Like I remember it was like Ceramide Time Complex Capsules, Elizabeth Arden. So there was a lot of commercial and promo. And then I wanted to move out to California to do more television on camera and more voice and lots of commercial, lots and lots of promo. And then I was like, what am I doing? I have all this Groundlings improv sketch stuff. I did the Groundlings in New York, Gotham City East. Yay to my instructors, Austin Murphy and Hillary Stern. And I was like, what am I doing? Holy crap. I was like, I gotta do my stuff. And so I took a great class with Charlie Adler and Chris Zimmerman, like Lorraine did.
Yes.
And like so many people did. And I took the most amazing class that changed my life. And that is how I got my first animated series, which is SWAT Cats. And I worked with Charlie on that show. And I think you have the cast list for me. Cause
Yes.
It was Jim Cummings.
You were Lieutenant Felina Farrell. Barry Gordon. Charlie Adler.
Penguin, that's right,
Gary
and Charlie.
Owens.
I was his niece, Gary Owens' niece.
Wow.
Tress McNeille, Jim Cummings, Candy Milo, Frederick Dolk, Mark Hamill, and Frank Welker.
Think about that for a first
Not
cast. No wonder I
too
blacked out
shabby.
about some of it. I got in the
Crazy.
room, and it was
I
back
know.
in Hanna-Barbera days. We'd actually
Yeah.
sit in a circle.
Well, and that
I'd-
doesn't even include, you had Rob Paulson and people coming on for multiple episodes.
yeah.
So
It was amazing. It
That's
was really
a nice welcome, my friend.
Heck yeah, man.
And it was really neat because the class taught me so much and just taught me to actually to free myself up, but just to just have fun and to be able to like take a character and get up on my feet and use all of my instincts and not squelch them or try to do anything that they wanted, whoever they is. It's like, no, whatever comes to mind for me to be able to create a character and be a team player. It's like doing radio plays. And so that's what we did. We were all in the same room for the whole day. You didn't just drop in and do your lines.
Yeah.
You did it as a whole cast. And I miss those days so much.
Yeah. Okay, Lori, let's talk about some current projects.
Okay.
One that I am so excited for you is Henry Hugglemonster on
Yay.
Disney Junior.
Yeah.
It
It's
just
awesome.
premiered a few weeks ago. talk about it. How did it come about? Give us some background.
I play Momma. We're a bunch of monsters. I play Mama Hugglemonster, and Tom Kinney, SpongeBob, plays my husband, and he plays Dado, and he talks like this. Dado, Mama and Dado, and we're monsters. And so we've got lots of horns and lipstick and pearls on. I look like a Joanne Worley with like horns, and they wanted. I remember auditioning for it. It's based on Neve Sharkey. She is an amazing storyteller of children's books, and she's an amazing award-winning laureate, heralding award-winning children's author. And it just came into this wonderful animated series from her brilliant mind. Premiered in the UK first, and now here. Actually, I think we started first, but somehow it aired there first. And it's just the CGI sort of type animation on it is gorgeous.
Wow.
And it's just great for tweens. Like Henry's character comes out and talks, and the family is like a bunch of earthy, groovy, bohemian, crazy family members.
Yeah.
And that strap on the Dado can never find the baby, and it's so great. And the mom character, I remember when I was auditioning for it, she was supposed to be kind of like a little earthy granola, but very mommy. And I remember thinking, okay, who can I draw on that's sort of like a really good mom and kind of dingy? And I was
This is good. So you're taking us through the process of your audition.
Yes,
for
this
that.
is exactly what I'm taking. Yeah, exactly. So I thought she needs to be she was a very good mom, and she's a very good mom, but she struggles with being all over the place. Can't relate to that. But she's just kind of like a little dingy, but without being an airhead at all. And I thought, what kind of mom is like that? But a really dedicated mom, like loves being a mom, but is just, and also is kind of groovy. And I was like, Goldie Hawn.
Wow.
And I was just like Goldie Hawn. So I really wanted to give her this like, Mom, oh boy, Henry, you be a good boy. And she's very, very encouraging of all of what they do. And the show, Henry comes out and talks to the audience, and he talks to the kids and tells them about how they're feeling. He breaks the fourth wall all the time. And so she's very encouraging, she's very enabling. No, I'm just kidding. So, so I knew that she had to be she had to be very, very likable, but very relatable, so that whenever she really did, talk to her kids, that they'd listen to her, and she'd be very likable without being like super cheesy, cream puffy, and be an earthy, groovy Disney mom. So I remember going to do a lot of pickups, and they'd be like, can you add a little bit of Goldie back in there? So I'd be like, Henry, you've got to come down. We just baked the bread with some artichoke juice. Just because they're just a little out there. Yeah,
Oh,
that was
that's
my role model,
cool.
was Goldie Hawn, and
that's
that's
perfect.
exactly like Goldie Hawn after maybe one cocktail. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Happy hour.
A little
Goldie.
tipsy Goldie.
Yeah.
Tipsy Goldie.
And she loves telling stories and talking about the glimmer birds, and we get to sing on the show.
Nice.
So that is really fun. That's so fun. We get to sing, and the guy who does all the tracks ended up singing the theme song to the show. Is just so delicious, and the songs are so catchy, and it's really poignant. Like, I got a little all verklempt because it's just so great. It's just really beautiful stories, and the cast is great. And when Rob is there, Rob Paulson and Gray Delisle and Cree Summer, they're mostly the staple of folks that are with us. It's just a lovely show, and the kids are just. It's so fun to watch, and you really literally zoom in and out of their world. So it's a very different type of animation, and it's. I really love her. She's a really good mom.
You seem really, really happy right now, and everything is going fantastic. And and we love that. We love that. But Stacy's known you for a long time, and we know that you know how to handle hard times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, what would you say to somebody out there, just maybe a little bit of insight on how to handle when things aren't going so great?
When things aren't going great, personally, professionally, you can't take it personally. Like, I've just, the only thing that whenever I want to reach outside of myself, like my career, my weight, my reputation, my house, my clothes, my looks.
The reputation you can't do anything about, so forget about it.
Forget that.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm out. There's no way.
Yeah.
It's there's no one else that can make me feel good about myself but me, and being a good person who gives back and who has some sense of self other than what it is that I don't do. It's not about this. Like, sitting here in this great studio with you guys is really fun, but it's just getting back up and doing the best that I can on any given day.
Yeah.
And reaching out and having a community of people. And when I'm not feeling good, to ask for help. Like, I realize that the more that the older I get, that I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And so the more vulnerable that I can be with people and put the fun bravado stuff aside for a minute, that's where I, interestingly enough, I find that my wonderful boyfriend Alec will be like, I like all the showy fun part of you, but the really juicy stuff that I don't think that a lot of people get to see is the more vulnerable side.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's actually what comes into the roles that I'm getting are now are actually softer, and to be able to say to somebody, I need help, I'm not feeling so good, and to surround myself artistically, creatively, with representation, with friends, with family, with the people that are going to support me and hold me up. Otherwise, I don't want them around.
Exactly.
I don't want the energy around that's not helpful.
No.
And I need to just be reminded to play. Like, life is hard enough.
Yeah.
I feel like a dear friend said to me, that pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice.
There you
and
go.
I have to really break a bad habit, because on any given day I want to break out the violin and just really
There's no
wallow in
violins.
self-pity.
There's no violins. No, but and I also remember this. You've done all this stuff that you've done through the years and worked with all these people and been on all these great shows and TV and off TV and all that stuff. But you still say, oh yeah, I'm going to take a class.
I have to take a class, or I don't feel right. It's like I feel off. If I'm not doing something, first of all, you can't practice what you preach. And inevitably, when I'm coaching more, I will also book more, because I'm just walking the walk. I mean, it's just that simple. So I have to, if we're an artist, that for me, my job is staying in shape vocally, physically, spiritually, acting-wise. I have to know what my intention is for every voice job. I have to tell the story. I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
I'm a storyteller, whether it's on camera, off camera, behind the mic, wherever it is, I'm a storyteller. So however I keep that instrument literally, spiritually, breaking down the scene, that's my job. And my job is to go on auditions, and my job is to nurture the relationships business-wise. It's also to rest. It's to play. It's to take a dance class. It's to do whatever it is that makes me happy and supple, and surround myself in like-minded communities. If I get the job, that's icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And some days I really struggle with the fact that I have to do all that, but that's my job. I chose that job.
Yeah.
I've chosen this job, or it's chosen me. And one of the things that I really come to terms with, I have a love-hate relationship with attention.
Yeah.
And I think that anybody in this business that says they don't or wants to be in this business is not addressing that. So you have to kind of make peace like a ninja with that love-hate relationship with attention. It's taken me like 20 years to finally figure out that that's not what defines me. That's not what, it doesn't mean anything.
No.
It doesn't
absolutely.
mean anything.
Yeah.
So, so while it feels good, I would much rather tell a good story and have a meaningful story to exchange with someone, have a meaningful exchange. I love the art of storytelling, and sharing stories, and is much more meaningful to me than it is to just get that sort of momentarily that quick fix.
Exactly.
Because I take off this little mic, you guys give me a great mug, and I'm in the car, and I go home, and then I'm like, so it's
then you get to shut down and just
yeah.
You know what? I got to tell you, I love your attitude. You got a great attitude. Put it there.
Thanks,
Chuck.
Chuck.
Everybody should be like that, because then you could just be good to yourself, you know what I mean, and carry yourself well. Very, very, very cool.
You got to carry your kindness. Yeah. You got to carry kindness out into the world. You got to treat other people like you'd like to be treated.
What is your favorite character that you've played on any cartoon series or even live action?
It might be Pearl. I'm not sure. It might be Pearl the Whale, because she gets to be a spoiled daddy's brat, which is probably what I am in real life. Daddy! That would
be from SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh my God.
Or perhaps like, oh, Jerry, like I really loved it. It was such an honor to work with Paul Rubens on the Pee Wee Herman show. That was just stupid how fun that was. I mean, that was such an honor.
You said that, was it last year? The year before?
I think that was
what are we in, 2013?
2010 maybe?
Yeah.
And we did it live at the Nokia Live here in Los Angeles. And that was so fun. So I got to sing a song with Pee Wee as Cherry. You can sit on me. It was very silly.
Yeah.
And doing that was a wonderful thing. I also really liked doing, of course, Diane Simmons. Like, that's right, Tom, on Family Guy, which I love Seth, and that is a no-brainer. And Sue Richards, the Invisible Woman, with Bo Weaver and Quentin Flynn and Chuck McCann on the Fantastic Four, and meeting Stan Lee and being a Marvel action gal. So It's hard to choose, but those are my top.
Well, and
faves.
then
That's
you've
cool.
got the boss in the Metal Gear
Solid,
franchise.
yes.
Yeah.
Which I always sort of like have to remember how like awesomely rad that is.
Is she? How is she? Is she just
is.
like?
She's not
She's just a
kidding
super
around.
not kidding around, sexy ballsy. I'm going to show you where my chest was broken open and show you the tatas to boot with it. I mean, it's very. She just doesn't take any, you know what, from
Any
anybody.
crap. Wow.
It's
the
awesome.
gamers love the boss.
It's
That's
an
cool.
amazing
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
She's a really and she's got this really complicated, twisted, dark relationship with Snake, and so it's incredible. And I got to work with Chris Zimmerman. I get to work with her whenever there's a new platform that comes out.
Yeah.
And so I love Chris. I love me some Chris Zimmerman.
Yes.
And so and me some Ginny and some Andrea Romano on SpongeBob. And so it's been such a pleasure to just work with some of just the
greats.
The greats.
The greats.
Well, and now you
Very
have
blessed.
currently running. You have some Valspar spots
Yes.
that are darling. Was it Val and John? They're
Yes.
so cute. They're
Yes.
like little chameleons, little geckos.
Yeah.
That change colors.
And it's a great. Well, it's interesting because when you bring your real life into your work, there's no way to sort of be like separate from who you are. You have to
Yeah.
bring one of the good affirmations that I have from my acting coach friend Jack Plotnick. He's a great actor and a great coach. Is that I'm going to take this from where I am right now as an improv. So that there's no pressure. There's no pressure on getting the job, on getting it right. There is no right. There is no,
Right.
even in getting the job, there's no like, oh, you hit it, it's done, it's a wrap. We're artists, so it's going to
Always
be
evolving,
some shade
yeah.
of blue, some shade of whatever.
Yeah.
And so when I keep that in mind, that everything is an improv, and I'm going to take it from right where I am right now in this moment with these given circumstances, then I can't fail. I'm never going to set myself up for I'm going to set myself up for success every time I
There
open
you
my
go.
mouth.
Yeah.
But anyways,
funny.
the Valspar spot, what I love is that it was a couples read.
Yeah.
So when I go into DPN, my fabulous agency, I really enjoy, I'll oftentimes read copy from my home studio, thanks to George Whittam. Yay, George.
Yay, George.
And I'll do my single stuff from home, but I never want to miss any copy read if it's a girl, two girls shopping, a TJ Maxx kind of spot, or a husband and wife
Yeah.
read kind of thing, because I get to improv and I get to do what I love to do the best, which is to tell a story. And this story was a couple going to get paint to paint their brand new house, and we just
Yeah.
bought a house.
Oh, so yeah.
So it was
hello.
like so easy to be
Yeah,
the
yeah.
trying not to be the nagging wife, girlfriend about like the fact that what color are we going to paint
Yeah.
this house? And so the whole spot of the campaign is that, or the gist of the campaign is that they can keep using whatever color from Valspar paint,
Yeah.
yay Valspar, because that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Because my walls are completely white. To continue to get the right color until you're happy. So we changed like chameleon, and they wanted just very natural, real
They are.
couple
They're
that sounded
very
like real
real.
couples. So.
Yeah.
That's
So I get to
so
slither
cool.
around, and then we got to, what was interesting on the Valspar spots is we hear the animators on the phone, and there's at least 7 to 9 people on the phone every time we do a spot. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So, what do you think someone getting into the business today needs to have a skill set?
So it's funny because I was meeting with my mentor, Charlie, today, and you can tell by my crazy handwriting. So one of the things that I think would be really exciting to remember before I get to Charlie is I took a great class with Jeffrey Tambor once, and we all have nerves as actors, and I remember
I don't.
thinking, I have to, because you're special.
Nerve. Yeah.
I know, I was like, I have to way to master these nerves. After 25 years as a working actor, I have to master these nerves finally. And Jeffrey Tambor was just like, what a dumb question. He's like, I'm nervous every single time. So how about we reframe the thinking of the word nervous or nervousness or nerves and put it in terms of excitement. Yes, physiologically, your palms may get sweaty. You may talk fast. That's what happens to me. You may get dry mouth, your heart races, your thoughts aren't as clear. That's what should be happening. You're excited.
Right.
And I went, oh, I'm
Makes
excited.
it a
I'm
positive
excited.
thing.
Way
Yeah.
better.
So it's way better. But I get to embrace that. So there's not a moment. So for me, I know that about myself. So to know thine self, right? I know that I get nervous. I still get really nervous. Okay, I have to take an extra moment. I have to be on time. I have to calm down. I have to say, excuse me, I'm going to need a moment. I need to go get some water. I need to do whatever I need to do to just, for me, it's like taking a breath, literally.
Yeah.
And really so I was talking to Charlie today, and I was writing about just saying yes to my fears.
Charlie
and,
Adler.
Charlie Adler.
The amazing Charlie, yeah.
And saying yes to my excitement and using it. And then being able to also just free yourself up and just saying yes to whatever the possibilities are, and saying no to the perfectionism, because that just kills me every time, because I want it all or nothing. I'm like, I want to know how to get a let's just say, for example, I have to get on a series and I have to do this and shingle the whole roof, and then it's all black or white. There's no gray. And there's no room for to get spiritual about it. What might the universe have in store for me? Mm-hmm. There could be something way bigger in store for me than I don't know. So I get to do the footwork, like take class, always be in an improv class for me, especially for voice, to stay in an improv class, stay in an acting class. I need to know what my intention is, what the script, the breakdown of a script at any given point, on camera, voice, so that I can then feel free to play and tell the story.
Well, that concludes part 1 with the awesome Lori Allen. Be sure and tune in next week for part 2. You're gonna love it.
Absolutely. And between now and then, you guys, make sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest at VO Buzz Weekly. You take care until next time, and just remember,
You always have time for a little buzz.